Tune in for Patrick Ching's Painting in Paradise.
Aloha, I'm Patrick Ching, and thank you for joining me on Painting in Paradise. In this episode, we get to learn about the Moorish Idol fish known in Hawaiian as Kihikihi. We'll visit the Waikiki Aquarium and learn about the Kihikihi from Aquarium Director Andrew Rossiter. Then I'll show you how to draw this spectacular fish and paint it too. All this and more on a fin-flashing episode of Painting in Paradise! The Waikiki Aquarium was founded in 1904 and is one of the oldest operating aquariums in the United States today. I asked the director, Andrew Rossiter, about the Waikiki Aquarium and the Moorish Idol.
The activities of the Waikiki Aquarium are actually pretty simple. We're focused on education, conservation and research around Hawaii's marine life. Our objective is to educate and entertain the visitor, and hopefully they will leave with a greater understanding and appreciation of why Hawaii and marine life is so different. Okay, so the Moorish Idol, where did it get its name from? Well, the Moors are a group of people living in North Africa, and the local people there believed that if you lived close to this fish, it brought you good luck. So that's why it's called Moorish, from the Moors, and idol because they used to worship it for good luck. In scientific terms, it's called Xanthus cornutus, and cornutus means horned or spiked, and Xanthus means curved or angular, and that refers to the curve of the dorsal fin. There are very, very few fishes that look like it. It's the only member of its entire family. They feed on invertebrates and sometimes coral, sponges, etc. Where you find the Moorish Idol is usually on the flat reefs, and surrounding it you'll find a huge array of other species. Damselfishes, angelfishes, butterfly fishes, clownfishes. Often you will see pencil urchins, spiny urchins, collector urchins around here as well.
When we return, I'll show you how to draw the Kihikihi. Alright friends, so now I'm going to show you how I go about drawing the Moorish Idol, known in Hawaii as Kihikihi. Okay, and you know when I started drawing, I like to press softly. How are we going to press? Softly, that's right. Okay, I'm going to put a circle in the middle of the page, and that's going to be like the body of our Kihikihi. And I'll just put a circle like that. Remember, you'll be using a pencil or maybe a thin pen like me. I'm using a thin pen that you can see it better, okay? But you can use a pencil, press softly, and let's put a circle where we want the body of our Kihikihi to go, okay? Now with that, we'll add a little triangle back here, and this triangle, it's actually going to be a triangle for the back part of that dorsal fin, and we can extend it all the way to the edge of the page like that with a long skinny streamer-like tail that kind of connects to the fin, okay? And that's what gives this Moorish Idol its name of Kihikihi. It's this long pointed corner that extends out into a streamer like that, yeah?
In Hawaiian, the word kihikihi refers to the angular or pointed shape of the Moorish Idol's dorsal fin.
Now on the bottom, let's give it another shape of a triangle, and that will be for the bottom fin right there. Okay, now we'll put the tail where the tail goes, and that'll be shaped like this. Oh, you know I like to put sound effects into my drawings, yeah? It just helps me figure out how fast to make the line. I learned everything with sound too. Okay, now right here we'll put the snout of the Kihikihi, and that comes like this. Oh yeah, we're starting to see the shape of the Kihikihi. In fact, we almost got them formed up already. just one or two little fins in the front here, these fins that come out right around there, bing, 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 and it's just like a little triangle shape too. Yeah, a lot of triangles and circles in this fish. We can even give him one more. Now it looks like he's got two of those front fins, okay? Now the next thing I'm gonna do is get a bigger pen. You can press harder with your pencil, and we'll do the outlining and detailing of this kihikihi. Okay, now that I got my kihikihi formed up, I'm going to take a bigger pen. You can press a little harder, and let's go around. We can start right here. Let's go around under the snout. Let's come up around the body, along that triangle, and go all the way to the end of the page. A nice long streamer-like tail, and let's shape the fin like this. It comes like this and gives a little curve right by the tail. Bink. Okay. Then we can put the tail in. Trying to follow the lines we did before. Again, a little bit of a bulb right there, and come back to the body and right there. Okay. Now we can add these little fins right here. Okay, we're kind of tracing over what we did already with a bigger pen, and now we're going to actually take this shape and put the outlines of those big black areas. You ready? All right, so now I'm going to put the big black areas of the kihikihi, and I'm just going to come down right around here and give a little bit of a bump where the maka or the eye goes, and that comes right around down to the fin area. Okay, that's one side of our black section. Okay, the first black section, and we'll come down here and we'll give a little bump right around there where the fin goes, the side fin. Okay, bing bing, and that's one black section right there. Now let's go and get the other black section, and that one is placed right around here. Okay, bing 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 bing. All right, comes up about there, right around there. Okay. Now within that black section we got a thin white line, so I'm going to go ahead and draw it. It might be a little tricky, but I'm just going to put a little thin line in there and another one to just leave a little space of white in there. Okay, I also notice there's a little bit of a white stripe right around here too, I think. Bing, 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 bing. Now I know you want to put the maka in already, and tell you what, I'm going to get to that kind of last. That's going to be like our candy, because before that we got some markings on the snout area. Okay, all right, let's put a line right around here for one of those markings, and another little triangle. This fish got a lot of triangles. Bing 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 bing. There we go. And now that sets us up to almost put the maka in, but first I'd like to show you that we'll put a little bit of a side fin. And I think those are his pectoral fins. I hope they are. Yeah. And let's put the fin right around there. Okay. And here, you can go give it some little sprigs of whatever you call those. Bing, bing. And we're almost done with the black areas. We got one more to do, and that is on the tail. Okay. So here, we put a black area on the tail, and it comes almost to the edge like that. All right. Okay, now we just got one more line to put in, a very thin one. It's kind of a line between bing bing, a white and yellow area. Now the best way to color this or shade this is actually going to be with color. But first, as promised, I'm going to put in the maka for you, okay? These are some little lines for the fins there. But the maka goes right where the maka is supposed to be, yeah? And we'll put the maka right there. Bing, 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 bing. You can put another big circle for the pupil. Maybe you can make it black. And I tell you what, next I'll show you how I go about darkening or widening some of these black areas. We'll kind of specify the black areas by shading them in with some ink or pencil, okay? All right, so now that I got my kihikihi formed up and outlined, I'm going to work on his markings, especially the black markings, okay? So in the black areas, I am going to go and shade them black. Now take this smaller pen. You can use your pencil, yeah? Whatever. Colors, markers. But let's just determine this black area. Let the viewers know this is our black stripe. Okay, notice I left that little white stripe in there. Went over the fin a little bit. And now I'm going to go do that second black area. Okay, that second black stripe. Remember that there's a little white line in there. You want to keep that white line white. Alright. Okay, and one more black area in the tail. Yeah, right there. Okay, now if you want to do any shading on this fish, you can do a little bit, you know, maybe on the bottom of the tail where the sun wouldn't hit it so much. Come down on the body like that. Just kind of fading it. Another good place for shadows might be in this back flipper. Let people know that back flipper is behind by giving it a little shading. Maybe even right here under or behind this pectoral fin. Yeah. And you can possibly do a little bit more around his maca. Maybe a little shadowing under there, okay? Great, now to make this picture look like your very own, go ahead and put some things around it. Maybe you can put another Moorish idol behind it. I'm going to give it a little line for some sand over there, and you can put some polka dots under that. Okay, you can put some like seaweed in here, you know. That's a good opportunity for you to use some green, yeah? Some limu, just kind of wavy lines like that. Or maybe pencil urchin. Great opportunity to use your red. You guys got some red crayons, markers, whatever. Okay. It's also quite easy to put a few more little fish. And they're just, you know, they can be just like figure eights, you know. Put a fin on top, maybe an eye, maybe a slit for the gill. Bing, bing. And there you have it. Now don't forget your signature. You know what a signature is? Yeah, it's your signature. You can put it right there. I'll put mine there. Bing, 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 bing. And there you have it. A Moorish idol known in Hawaiian as Kihikihi.
Now go ahead and color your drawing, and when we return, I'll show you how to paint the Kihikihi. Alright friends, so now I'm going to show you how I'd go about painting the Moorish idol, also known in Hawaiian as Kihikihi. Okay, so I got my canvas. I drew my Kihikihi Moorish idol fish on it with pencil and eraser. And now I'm gathering some colors. I'm going to use acrylic paints here. And I put them on a plate. I find that's a nice palette for me, you know. Notice I try not to use too much plastic stuff. So, you know, whatever you can use, paper. I'm going to start with some white and blue and just start painting. But you know, a lot of the beauty of your fish is going to be the colors that surround it, yeah? And here I'm putting some of this feel-good aqua color. Oh, you put this color and like people just feel good looking at your painting because that color makes them feel nice. I'm going to try and leave my Kihikihi white. When I'm painting, I'm generally starting with my lighter colors. If I do my lighter colors first, then I don't have to wash brush so much, you know. I'm considering the colors of the fish. I'm considering the colors of the surroundings, because a lot of times, just the colors that you use for the surroundings are just as important as the colors of the fish. So I'm going to do my best to just leave this fish kind of like a white outline of this fish. That's going to give something nice and bright, you know, vibrancy behind the fish. And you know, sometimes you can put dark behind the bright parts of the fish too, and you'll see that I'm going to do that also. Alright, now I'm going to start to get some sand color, and bring it down here too. Alright, so now I'm going to go and work on the light parts, meaning the whites and the yellows parts. I'll put the light color first, which is basically the whites. And then while it's wet, add a little bit of yellow. Okay, if you're working with acrylic paints, you got to work a little bit fast because you want to blend these colors while the paint's still wet. Now when you're painting, I don't want you to worry so much if everything's looking just perfect, you know, in your first layer or whatever. I think that, you know, you try and make it good in your first layers, but don't worry because your first layer is just your first layer. It doesn't have to be your last layer. You got a lot of time to make adjustments, to add more layers, to make things more nice and rich, you know? All right, and there's one more place to add some yellow. Right there on the nose, yeah, little triangle right there. In fact, in this little piece, I like to put a little bit of orange in there. Gives a little color variation. Really just gives me an excuse to use some orange. Alright, so now I'm going to put in my dark areas, and these, depending on the light, they can be just black, with a little bit of highlights or reflections on them, or if there's certain light, like, you know, daylight, they can look almost brown where the light's hitting it, and maybe even darker on the underparts. I'm just gonna add a little brown and black together. Okay, now whenever you need to, you just go ahead and turn that painting. Okay, and that's just to utilize the curve of your hand to the best. You know, you got that curve of your hand, yeah? Yeah, so you'll notice you put down one layer and it still looks kind of like watercolor. If you put down 2 layers, you'll get a more opaque effect. So now I'm going to work on some of those delicate thin lines, and I still got a pretty big size brush, you know, but this brush is shaped like a screwdriver. It can get really thin lines and it can get big lines. And you know my secret for getting thin lines? Glasses. Notice I'm adding a little bit of orange in my brown. Yeah, this little dot on the eye is pretty important. It's not a glimmer, it's a white patch on his eye. Yeah, I'm also going to reinforce a couple of light lines in the dark areas. There's one that, a little crescent shaped one that goes right like this. But I'm gonna give it a little bit of its fin right around here. Now we can also put a little bit of see-through blue down below like this. Check this out. Okay, I'm making it very transparent by adding quite a bit of water down here to some of these white areas. We do a lot of these with see-through or transparent layers. We might call them glazing layers. And you know, in the white, it doesn't have to just be white. It can be a little bit gray on the underneath parts, but I'm going to add a little bit of a color you might not suspect I'm going to add. And that color is a little bit of pink. And why? Because sometimes I notice a little bit of pink down there. So So I'm just taking a little bit of white and the tiniest, ever so tiniest bit of red. It's like chicken head red. Okay, I want like 98% white and 2% red in this thing. I'm just trying to give a little glow of pink in here. And I'm gonna put it on the bottom parts of the Kihikihi's white areas. Yeah, it's just like a scrubbing motion. Just for a little bit of added color. Give a little more color right around the maka area. And there you have it. The Moorish Idol, known in Hawaiian as Kihikihi. Thank you for joining me on Painting in Paradise. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Moorish Idol fish called the Kihikihi. Aloha.